is TK. I'm back with the recording I'm doing to talk about the Switch. I actually just recorded a video, but a lot of it went wrong. Mainly that I was cooking and I had to go grab what I was cooking and eat it first. And that, excuse me, I need to drink this water. Much better. And that I got a connection error while playing, so it was looking for a level and then the connection just dropped. And we're had sorry, it feels like I made my own burger is what I was doing, and it feels like I got like meat stuck in the back of my throat. It doesn't feel so good. Yuck. Why was it pointing that way? Weird level. Alright, focus on talking about the Switch. Sorry, if you're watching any of my videos, you know I have a focusing issue. And that I rarely actually focus. That was bullcrap, it wouldn't let me in. Anywho, I am focusing way too much on the game. So put the focus back onto what it needs to be, back onto the Switch. I was talking about in the excuse me, previous video about what I thought about the it's just bull. Anyway, I was talking about what I thought about The Legend of Zelda on the Switch, because that was just a good place to start. So, Breath of the Wild, like I said, being released on the Switch, there were some graphical upgrades. I think I talked about that in the previous video, in which the game now runs at 900p rather than the 720 on the Wii U, and some people are actually suspecting that it runs sub HD on the Wii U. It also has more dynamic lighting and better texturing. However, it does not have any anti-aliasing, and that's, at this point, it's just expected out of Nintendo to not include anti-aliasing in their HD games. Not falling for that. A lot of Wii U titles would have looked significantly better had it actually had anti-aliasing, and none of those games had anti-aliasing. Like Mario Kart would have looked gorgeous with anti-aliasing, but it was a pixely mess left and right. Especially that candy level in Ribbon Road would have looked absolutely amazing without the with more anti-aliasing, and we'll get to that since that's also being ported over to the Switch from the Wii U. But again, right now I want to talk about the Zelda, and one of the things I'm seeing is a lot of people complaining about the frames per second hasn't gotten any better. They're saying, well, you know, it's on it's on the Switch, it should have better frames per second. The Wii U version, if you look at gameplay, just has some awful frames per second. The frame rate just kind of goes nuts. And whenever there's bombs, it immediately slows. Whenever there's a bunch of enemies, you start noticing it slowing. In the Wii U, in the Switch version, you don't see that as much. In fact, it's a huge decrease on how often that happens in the Switch version over the Wii U version. But people expected it to just be gone altogether. In the video that I had to delete due to a bunch of stuff that was happening, I did say that something you have to remember is that the Wii U and Switch have different architectures. The Wii U, the Wii, and GameCube all kind of shared the same architecture. So when a game was increased in resolution and moved over to the one system to another, it was basically running on the same system. That difference in architecture, not on Mario. Didn't expect that. Anyway, that difference in architecture, I mean that lack of difference in architecture made it so that most of the games were pretty much just the same thing over and over. Oh, wait, shoot, I said that wrong. Let me take a look at the time. 9 minutes. Made it so that you were essentially playing, essentially porting, a game to a very similar architecture. With the similarities in architecture, you had it was easier to port over and notice a difference in game, like going from the Wii to the Wii U. Excuse me, it's almost a huge difference just because of things like the Wii having 700 and like 78. Excuse me, like 78 megabytes of RAM. In the Wii U having a full gig in RAM. Well, a gig usable. It actually had 2 gigs of RAM. One of them wasn't usable for games. And excuse me, that gig of RAM, yeah, made like a good amount of difference. Oh, it messed up last go. And what can be accomplished with the games. However, it still used like a version of the TEV from the GameCube, an AMD made processor. It was supposed to be based off of an actual graphic card, but when you look down at the core, it was still technically based on the TEV, just like the Wii was technically based on the TEV, which is the GameCube's. The TEV is the GameCube's graphical processor, and because they were still always kind of based on the same thing, you didn't get this big of a difference in how they ran. However, the Switch is based on something completely different. It's based on the NVIDIA Tegra. We don't know. A lot of people are assuming it's the Tegra X1, but sorry, I'm checking time. But from what we're told, it's a custom Tegra. We don't know, what exactly about it is custom. Or some people are assuming it's based on Pascal. We're getting rumors that it's based on Pascal, not Maxwell. However, if you actually look it up, Pascal and Maxwell, the only time there's a huge difference between the two is when hot. It is when it's in a graphic card, because what the difference between Pascal and Maxwell is essentially Pascal is Maxwell that's more stable. It's on a smaller die, so it can use less energy, less power, and run essentially with the same strength as Maxwell. So with that being, if you were to say give it more power, when I say power, I mean like battery, not battery. It's a little difficult to explain. When I say power, I mean like a power supply provides energy, it provides power, and Pascal needs less of it than Maxwell does to run at certain. I don't want to say certain strengths, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. With that being, you can provide Pascal less power to run just as well as Maxwell did. So if you provided equally as much power as Maxwell, then you're going to get a little more kick out of it. Because it would be on the Tegra though, you wouldn't see that much of a kick out of it. It's on a Tegra, it's on a small battery. The most you would get is that it would use less battery if it was Pascal. Which is why most people, I think, are hoping for it to be Pascal. We can get, oops, I didn't jump. We can get more battery life out of the Switch if it's Pascal than if it's Maxwell. And that's pretty much all you'd get. I see people still assuming that if it's Pascal and not Maxwell, they're going to get better looking games. They're not. They're just going to get games that won't kill the battery immediately. that being said, you know, that I got way off tangent here. Essentially, well, not really, but essentially because it's a different architecture, you're not gonna have perfect ports of Wii U titles. According to a lot of sources that played the oh, oop. Screw this just jazz, that played the Wii U, the Switch version of Mario Kart. You know what? I'll get to that when I reach Mario Kart. But on the subject of Zelda again, which I'm trying to stay on. I got 4 minutes left, so I need to stay on it because I went on far tangent on hardware. I didn't expect it to run perfectly, mainly because the RAM. We don't know the type of RAM that's in it. The Wii U used GDDR3 or just I think it was just DDR3, and the while the Switch used DDR3, supposedly the while the Wii U used DDR3, supposedly the Switch is going to use LPP DDR4, which is the essentially the mobile version of DDR4, and I think this is a music level, but I won't be able to tell because I have it muted. And for I guess those that don't know, DDR4 is just I wouldn't say just released, but we have DDR4 now, and with what? Oh, he has it like blocked off or something. I'm not sure what this level is doing. I didn't expect it to transfer perfectly over. I knew that there was going to be issues with the Switch version of Zelda just because it's coming from completely different architecture and it's a port. Yeah, you can port it, but that doesn't mean it's going to port correctly. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting anything perfect, and I was actually expecting there to be frame issues, but I'm not blaming the hardware. I'm not people who automatically jump to the hardware can barely handle Wii games at 900p, so why should I expect it to blah blah blah? No, I'm expecting more out of the Switch than what we saw with Zelda. Zelda is a launch title. Zelda is a port. You know, we shouldn't be basing the entire thing off of a launch title port. Give me a sec here. Man, I went on a lot of tangents. This video is actually almost over. I almost at the last point, so I'm guessing this is going to be the last level of this video. Holy crap. Stop! Holy crap, stop! Okay, got distracted by how ridiculous this level was. So I think I'm done talking about Zelda on Switch. You know, it's like I said, it's got graphics. It's a graphical increase, but not much of one. It's a port, so I wasn't expecting it to be this huge graphical increase. I do want to go over the hardware, and that we don't really know much about it. There was a Eurogamer article released that said that it had these really, really low these really, oh boy, I don't think you can get back up. Well, you can. These really, really low clock mount, yeah, these really, really low running clocks, so it gives it low flops. And honestly, flops are what bits are. They mean something, but alone they really mean nothing. Like the Wii U only ran, oh shoot, we got 20 seconds left in this video, so I'll get back on the hardware when in next video. See you then.